Learning to mirror, signal and manoeuvre is on its way out. Because shadowy backroom technologists at places like Google, Intel and even Facebook are hell-bent on getting rid of drivers altogether.
We're building systems to enable cars to drive themselves.
Our lovely cars are on borrowed time. There's even a plan drawn up by the Society of Automotive Engineers in America, a roadmap, if you will. It starts with level 0. Level 0 is where the human driver has control of everything. The plan then moves through various levels of automation and driver assist technologies and ends up at level 5. Level 5 is where humans are simply passengers. At this point, relaxing would be a more apt term for automobile travel than driving. If this sounds a bit like a science fiction writer's pipe dream, then remember, an awful lot of effort and, crucially, money is currently going into it. Google is investing $30 million annually to driverless, and Intel recently paid $15 billion for Israeli driverless tech company Mobileye. From niche robots to race cars.
Look, it's being steered by nobody.
To mass manufacturers, driverless is where it's at. At the famous Silverstone racetrack in England, it's already happening.
My name is Tina Gade, and I work here at Sahara Force India Formula One team as a vehicle science engineer. The best place normally to develop a car is actually to take it to a track and test it. In reality, we're restricted by the regulations, so we're only allowed a fixed number of test sessions every year. What that means is we end up having to do quite a lot of it in the virtual world. We model the car, the tyres, the aerodynamics and the tracks, and we bring it all together in a driving simulator for a driver to drive around, and it tells us what the performance is going to be. One of the most interesting things for me about the concept of driverless cars is if you take what I do on a daily basis, but we really don't understand, the bit that is difficult is the driver element, because for all the computational power we have to model, for example, the aerodynamics or the tyres or the track, the things that go on in the human brain are incredibly complicated and processed unbelievably quickly. And so from an engineering perspective, if we could have a completely driverless car that could perform the same task absolutely consistently, the same from one lap to the next, every time, we would get much cleaner data, and actually we potentially stand to make better connections as a result and learn more.
Today, Tina is off to see another race team, one that has taken driverless technology a stage further.
I actually think I want to go left here. No, I was completely wrong. I can go that way.
RoboRace wants to compete in Formula E, but unlike other electric race teams, they have decided to abandon drivers altogether. These sleek racing robots will battle it out against each other and eventually against human competition. But for the time being, they're testing out the concept with this, their development robot, DevBot.
We can see inside here, it actually looks quite a lot like a conventional car cabin.
We've got a rack that sits behind the driver. What we've done is we've taken human capabilities and we're putting them in silicon and software.
Here at Silverstone, DevBot knows the circuit so well that it's capable of giving high-speed tours of the racetrack to the humans it's aiming to defeat.
I'm not actually the best passenger at the best of times, and so it's going to be quite strange.
Hold the handbrake. I would drive like that.
OK. So this is it. My life in the hands of some software. The blue light's gone on at the front. I think we're ready to go. I am really very nervous. It's setting off quicker than I'd planned.
It's terrifying the first time you get in a car and you're not touching any of the controls.
I'm going to keep my hand over the brake. It's very weird seeing the steering wheel doing this itself. So now it's actually going quite quickly. Doing 130, 142 kilometres an hour, something like that. Oh God, I'm quite worried. You know, this thing could lose grip any minute.
Once you spent some time in it, you get that feeling of total confidence and you realise that the machine is far better than any human could ever be.
Oh, wow. That is hard on the brakes. Can I have another go? That's actually quite good.
One of the big appeals about Formula One and motorsport in general is the personalities, the drivers themselves. There is also a huge following for teams.
It's quite good in there. It's quite good, yeah.
If you look at Ferrari, they're one of the most biggest in the world. And I think what RoboRace will allow is actually for people to create that following for the team rather than for the driver themselves.
Impressive as careering driverless around the track at around 200 kilometres per hour is, there's much more to racing than just pure speed. The driverless race car will have a lot on its mind.
What we're really starting to look at is that judgment layer. What speed should I be entering this corner? It's a critical thing. The path that I should be following. And then moving up into sort of tactical decision-making layer in terms of, am I going to overtake or am I going to actually save some battery because I want to attack in about 5 laps' time?
So what you're basically saying is that actually the car can perform the driving function as a human can.
Yep, that's exactly right, yeah.
It's RoboRace's plan to build such a clever, driverless car that the human opposition will be ground into the dust. But so far, the DevBots are only racing each other, with mixed results. And this is the problem. Robots, even quite advanced ones like DevBot, are, well, limited, making it a tricky drive from the racetrack to the main street.
The biggest thing in autonomy is getting it to work. Getting it to work in every case, getting it to work reliably, getting it to work safely and ethically, and understanding issues of liability.
When it comes to regulation, legislation regarding autonomous cars, there is so much that even the authorities are still trying to learn about them.
I know some brands are saying that they're very close to having the ability to drive through suburbs and through really complicated streets. But for me personally, I've been in these cars and there's a certain limitation that the technology, I think, currently has.
I was lucky enough to go for a ride in one of the most advanced autonomous prototypes a couple of years ago. It did 3 things wrong in 15 minutes, so fairly basic mistakes that a human would have picked up straight away.